so much for coming to part 2 of our brand new Readers Theater program here at CSB. My name is Karen, and my job is to support different classrooms with their Braille instruction or different literacy groups, depending on their need, reading, writing, spelling, vocabulary. I'm really happy to be sharing this program with you. The school has worked very, very hard. And if you missed yesterday's presentation, what Readers Theater is each class chose a selection of fiction, nonfiction, poetry, etc., and practiced together to work on not only celebration of literacy as a community, but reading expression, fluency, and performance. So I really hope you enjoy our program today. Before I begin, I want to make sure I thank people who really helped out, because lots of people were helping making this possible, from Letty, who made sure to have interpretation for people who needed to hear in a different language, to Elizabeth, who made awesome materials, to Marino, who gave us extra batteries when we ran out for the microphones, to Jason and Megan, who are live streaming the performance for anyone who would like to watch it from home. Of course, the custodial staff are setting up our theater. Mr. Lloyd is volunteering a lot of time to make the sound is just right. We had a Readers Theater committee that met since fall and worked very hard with trying to make this program successful and positive for everyone involved. The O&M staff is seamlessly making sure the kids can transition on and off the stage safely and effectively, so I really appreciate that. We have a panel in front of us who, after each presentation, will say a lot of cool things about your friends and your students and your relatives. And most of all, again, individual classrooms, because this was a new program, a new idea, and you decided to make it your own, and you worked hard and together to make it work. So I really appreciate it, because I know it takes commitment and scheduling and bravery for some, and practice for others. So way to go. I'm really impressed. And then of course our own Joe, who shared his talent with poetry yesterday. So to start our program today, we have Ms. Tong's class on stage ready to go. Please welcome them when they perform Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Good afternoon, CSB. Some of you may be wondering why I'm wearing my yellow rain jacket, a bib over my shirt to keep it clean when I eat, and I'm holding a yellow umbrella. Well, I want to be prepared for whatever the weather brings, and you'll understand more about that in a minute. It is my pleasure to introduce to you my awesome 8 who will be reading for you today. On your far left, we have Mishka Gutierrez, Mia Suarez, Luis Trujillo, Jaylene Rodriguez, Sadaya Banks, Miss Marlea Woolley, Raya Fuentes, and Xavier Ortega. Students, are you ready?
It was Saturday morning, Sunday morning. Henry and I were menu varied. By the time they woke up in the morning, breakfast was coming down. After a brief shower of orange juice, low clouds of sunny-side-up eggs moved and followed by pieces of toast, butter and jelly sprinkled down for the toast. And most of the time, it rained milk afterwards. For lunch one day, frankfurters already in their rolls blew in from the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. There were mustard clouds nearby. Then the wind shifted to the east and brought in baked beans. A drizzle of soda finished off the meal. Dinner one night consisted of lamb chops becoming heavy at times with occasional ketchup. Periods of peas and baked potatoes were followed by a gradual clearing with a wonderful jello setting in the west.
The sanitation department of Chewing Swallow had a rather unusual job for a sanitation department. It had to remove the food that fell on the houses and sidewalks and lawns. The workers cleaned things up after every meal and fed all the dogs and cats. Then they emptied some of it into the surrounding oceans for the fish and turtles and whales to eat. The rest of the food was put back into the earth so that the soil would be richer for the people's flower gardens.
That smells good.
Life for the townspeople was delicious until the weather took a turn for the worse.
One day, there was nothing but $40 cheese all day long. Ew! That is nasty. There was only broccoli, all overcooked. I don't like broccoli roast. And the next day, there were Brussels sprouts and peanut butter with mayonnaise. Another day, there was a pea soup farm. No one could see where they were going. As they, wait, sorry.
Excuse me, do you know which way is the library?
Find the rest of the meal that got stuck in the fog. There was a storm of pancakes one morning and a downpour of maple syrup. That nearly flooded the town. A huge pancake covered the school. No one could get it off because of its weight, so they had to close the school.
So a decision was made to abandon the town of Chew and Swallow. It was a matter of survival. The people glued together giant pieces of stale bread with peanut butter, took the absolute necessities with them, and set sail on their rafts for a new land. After being afloat for a week, they finally reached a small coastal town which welcomed them. The children began school again.
No!
favorite parts of this story is how fun it is. And you guys kept that sense of humor with all of your commentary, and I don't know if you noticed, but you were having so much fun on that stage that the audience wanted to have fun with you. So they were laughing right along, people were commenting on, ew, gross, what kind of meal would that be with mayonnaise and peanut butter and Brussels sprouts? You guys did such a great job with you, and thank you so much. Hi, Ms. Khan's class, it's Mrs. Johns. I am so impressed. Wow, what a wonderful performance. I was thinking the same thing as Miss Cindy about how you were so engaging and having, such a great time. All of the props and your responses and the extra, sound effects were wonderful. And it really made everyone in the audience extra excited to listen to your story. So very, very well done. And I want to say we have some notes here about what makes a really good Reader's Theater performance. And one of the things it says, you follow the sequence of the story, you're enthusiastic about your performance, and you demonstrate great group effort working together. And I say you did all of those things perfectly. Very good.
Hello, Ms. Tom's class, it's Jennifer. I agree with Miss Cindy and Mrs. Johns. We do have the rubric here in front of us that lets us know what makes a strong Reader's Theater performance. And the thing that I want to highlight is cooperation. You're a big class. This was a long story. And from start to finish, you worked together so well. All of the things you were adding in, the comments about no school, all of those things, you were all on point and supported each other. And this was a true ensemble of students performing together. So excellent, excellent job. You really, really excelled in cooperation and collaboration.
Okay, yeah, so this is it. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're like, you want to go this way? Yeah, you're good. All right, we're sidestepping, guys. We're sidestepping. Here's your new thought.
Sorry. No.
I think I want to wait for Ms. Tom's class to be comfortable in your seats,
Alicia.
and then we will begin our next presentation.
No. I don't see anything. Can you help me? How did you cook this? How did you cook this steak? How did you cook this chicken?
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Tom's class. What a great opening to our second day of Readers Theater. Next up,
It's not because you have to share.
next up, we have Ms. Liz's class performing a presentation about famous people.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, our middle school class will be sharing their famous favorite person and highlighting the impact that these people have had on them and others. And to the far left of the stage, we have Faye, we have LaKeza, we have Evelette, Joy, and Kylie. Take it away, Faye.
are stories about Greek mythology mixed with modern times. What is interesting about the character Percy Jackson is that he has ADHD and dyslexia. Rick wanted to create a character to show kids that they have the potential to do many things and that kids like them are creative. Rick's son also has learning needs and dyslexia. Rick created amazing stories to fill readers' imagination and inspire them to overcome challenges and become a warrior.
Steve Jobs is a co-founder of Apple and also an inspiration to many who use technology in creative ways. Steve co-founded Apple as a computer company in 1976 at the age of 21. Steve Jobs often worked on tech projects with his dad. Without Steve Jobs, we would not have the technology we have now, such as iPads and iPhones. We also would not have things like FaceTime. I have an iPhone and I don't know what I would do without it. My iPhone helps me with things like keeping in contact with friends and family through call or text, and taking photos and videos to save special memories. I also use my phone to help me read things by using apps like Be My Eyes. Apple has an amazing screen reader called VoiceOver. VoiceOver helps by reading what is on the screen and helps people who can't see navigate their phone. Steve Jobs also co-founded Pixar, an animation company. He was the first to help with making computer animated films like Toy Story. Steve Jobs' legacy continues to inspire people to push through challenges and make technology more impactful and creative.
Ted Hunter was the creator of a phenomenal screen reader that some of us use on the daily. This screen reader, as you know it, is JAWS. But did you know that JAWS wasn't created by Freedom Scientific? JAWS was created by Ted Hunter in 1995. When he created it, he was 35 to 40 years old when he realized job access was speech, or as you know it, JAWS, was something the world needed. JAWS has been helping blind and visually impaired individuals for about 30 years. JAWS has helped me for all the years I've been in school so far. JAWS takes accessibility to a level that no other screen reader has. That is a little bit about our favorite computer screen readers, founder and programmer. If you put your mind to it, maybe you can be the next Leonardo da Vinci, Rick Riordan, Steve Jobs, or Neil deGrasse Tyson. I hope these people inspire you to follow your heart and try your best to achieve your dreams.
Well done, Mrs. Class, well done. I learned a lot, and I'm really impressed. Thank you so much. Next, positive panel.
All right, Miss Liz's class, thank you so much. I really enjoyed your performance. I can tell that you put a lot of time into preparing for this, and I assume you wrote those. You wrote what you wrote. So you wrote it first and edited it and everything, I'm sure, and then practiced reading it out loud. And so that's very impressive. I learned something about each of the people you were talking about, and I like when you added your reasons why you relate to that person or appreciate that person. So, like you, Joy, I don't know what I would do without my iPhone. So, very good, you guys. I'm very impressed.
Miss Liz's class. This is Jennifer. First of all, I want to say that, Faye, thank you for, it was totally not your fault that your microphone wasn't working, and you handled that with a lot of grace. And we really wanted to hear every word, so that was an unexpected situation where you had to start over, so thank you so much for doing that for us. I know that can be tricky when you're up on stage, and you handled that very well. Ren, I love the way you pulled it together at the end. Each of you were reading about an inspirational person, and I loved how you tied it all together and for us as an audience and reminded us all about everything that we had heard of. I really liked that part. This was really very interesting to see a non-fiction example of readers' theater after we just saw a fiction example. So we're really learning sort of the breadth and the depth that this celebration of literacy, with the different things that we can do with it. So I really appreciate it. Obviously, Ms. Liz, you have quite a talented class of writers. And it's one thing to be able to write, that's really quite a talent. And then public speaking is a separate talent. And you, all 5 of you nailed both, so thank you very much.
Hi, this is Christina. I enjoyed your research and your vulnerability on stage. I learned something new today. I think it was pretty good. Thank you.
Hey, Miss Liz's class, it's Miss Cindy. It is an absolute honor to be your neighbor. And one of the reasons that is an honor is I have been watching you guys put together these presentations and practice, and it all came together today into this beautiful performance. I learned something new from every single one of you. I love how you were reading at a nice slow pace. We could follow along. You spoke very clearly. And I just want to compliment each of you because one of my favorite things for people to do is tell me about something they're excited about. And you each picked something you were excited about for this presentation, and you guys did a really lovely job of sharing that.
Outstanding job. Thank you very much. Please stand up and you can be escorted off the stage, and we'll wait for our next performers to get comfortable.
Watch out, the iPad is on the right.
Yo, camera.
How old are we?
was mentioned before, we got to start our performance with a fiction story, and then we heard some nonfiction research, which is super cool, different takes on the same assignment. And now we get to hear Miss Tina's class perform some poetry. They chose the book Where the Sidewalk Ends, and we'll perform specific poems: Spaghetti, Pickle Me, Tickle Me Too, Captain Hook, and Pancake. Please welcome Miss Tina's class.
Good afternoon, everybody. So in my class, I have the amazing Anna Rishma, charming Charles, awesome Alexa, enthusiastic Enrique, the great Gabby, and knowledgeable Rochelle. All right. Are you guys ready?
Yeah!
All right, let's do it.
Let's go.
Spaghetti. Spaghetti all over the face, up to my elbows, up to my face.
Over the cupboard and under the stairs, into the MSS, while around the stairs.
And covering the desk. The sofa mat in a mushy mess.
Ew.
The party is ruined. I'm terribly worried. The guests have all left, unless they're all buried.
I told them, bring presents. I said, throw confetti. I guess they just heard wrong.
'Cause they all do spaghetti.
Captain Hook.
Captain Hook must remember not to scratch his
Fresh off the middle.
Telfa, Teresa, smelled and said,
I'll take the one in the middle.
Tickle me too. Red for a line in a flying shoe. Hooray! It's once fun. It's time we flew. Said tickle me too. Tickle was tempted and Tickle was flew. And Tickle served coffee and mulligan stew. As higher and higher and higher they flew. Tickle me too. Tickle me too. Over the sun and beyond the blue. Hold on, stay in. I hope we do. Cried tickle me too. Tickle me too. Never return to the world they knew. Nobody knows what's happened to dear Tickle me too.
Wonderful, wonderful job, Miss Tina's class. Every poem made me smile. Please stay seated. Next, the panel.
Miss Tina's class, it's Jennifer. I want to thank you so much for doing poetry. I really, really loved listening to your clever use of words. I liked that you didn't go in order, that you kind of popcorned around the table. It was exciting to see whose voice was coming next. And you all did an excellent job of remembering when it was your turn to read. And I love to see everybody reading. I could see you turning your pages and reading your Braille. And Gabby, I was thinking that another thing that would be hard for Captain Hook would be reading Braille.
Hey, Miss Tina's class, it's Miss Cindy. Just like Jennifer, I really like watching everyone who wasn't the reader out loud tracking along and following along with their Braille so that you guys knew when it was your turn. That was so nice to see all those great readers up on stage at the same time. I also really liked how you guys kept a sense of humor with your extra comments. And just like the last group, a couple groups ago, you were having so much fun. I don't know if you heard the audience commenting along, ew, when we thought about Captain Hook picking his nose. Hi, Miss Tina's class, it's Mrs. Johns. I am very proud of you. I've been watching you practice this for a while, and you've come a long way. I love how you listen to each other and take your turns and read carefully and clearly into the microphone. I was very impressive, and I just think that you did a wonderful job, and I'm really impressed. Thank you, guys.
Terrific job, Ms. Tina's class. You may stand up and be escorted off the stage. As the next class comes on, Mr. Chris's class can come up and wait behind the stage, behind the curtain.
What do you want, Tina? Anywhere?
Bags
This was always reading so good.
Oh my gosh, I'm proud of all you guys. Amazing.
Thank
So
you.
cool.
Wonderful.
Want to take it to your seat, Alexa?
Okay, we are ready for another creative entry into our Reader's Theater program. Please give a big round of applause for Miss Maria's class performing The Lucky Bandits.
Hi everyone, since Maria is not here, I as her prodigy is gonna take her place. Our class, we chose to write our own script and we're gonna present it for you. The story is called The Lucky Bandits by the upperclassmen of Irvington, narrated by John Kennedy. The Dust Bowl was a time in the 1930s when huge dust storms covered parts of the United States. It happened because farmers overworked the land and there was very little rain. The soil turned to dust and strong winds blew it everywhere, making it hard for people to breathe or even grow food. Many families had to leave their homes to find a better place to live. Zorro and the Dust Bowl. Zorro and the Dust Bowl bandits by the upperclassmen of Irvington. Scene 1, the Raggedy Farm. In the heart of the Dust Bowl era, on a tired little farm, Lester the farmer and his animal caretaker lived with only a skinned cow and jars of pickles to their name.
If the dust doesn't get us, the wind will. Lester, wake up. Something's out there.
Not a moth on tonight.
Lester storms outside. The robbers crash by the barn, muttering.
Did you hear that? Something's coming.
Relax. It's just luck. We never get caught, remember?
The robbers scatter into the night. Next morning. The next morning, Lester and Hillbilly stormed into the sheriff's office. Scene 2, the sheriff's office. Lester slams the desk.
Sheriff, there was robbers on my farm last night. They didn't take nothing this time, but next time they might take my buttercup and my jar pickles.
Lester, I've tried. These two robbers are famous for their luck. It's like they vanish in the thin air. Thin air.
Then call Tom meeting.
We'll try, Lester, but you might need a miracle.
A miracle. Mind your beeswax, deputy.
Scene 3, the robbers. The robbers creep onto the farm.
What is that? This cow might be skinny, but it's better than nothing. Grab those pigs.
Suddenly, the sound of galloping hooves fill the air. A strong, commanding voice shouts,
Hold it right there, bandit!
The robbers gasp as a horse whinnies and Zorro appears, his cape fluttering in the wind.
It's Zorro! Run!
Zorro spins his lasso and captures both robbers with one smooth motion.
You caused enough trouble. It's time for justice.
Zorro drags the robbers off to the county jail. Scene 4, the town celebration. The next morning, the town gathered to celebrate Zorro's bravery.
Lester, you were right. We needed a miracle, and we got Zorro.
And my jar pickles are safe, thanks to him.
Everyone cheers as Zorro tips his hat before riding off into the sunset. And so, on a dusty farm in the heart of the Dust Bowl, peace was restored, thanks to Zorro, the hero of the day. Scene 5, in the jail. The robbers are being prosecuted.
Name?
Tom Jones.
Luke Smith.
Now, date of birth.
January 19, 1895.
March the 3rd, 1895.
Hillbilly, performed by Fish Club. The Animal Caretaker, performed by Hannah. And The Robbers, performed by Miss Erica and Jazz.
Please stay seated. Thanks, guys. Wonderful, wonderful work. Okay, thank you. Time for the panel.
You guys were amazing. I like your props. I like the you have I admire. You guys did wonderful.
Hey, Miss Maria's class, it's Miss Cindy. What a great performance. Something I really liked that you guys did is you used a lot of sound effects, but you used them really well. You guys paused during your sound effects before you started narration and your lines again, which made it so that the audience could hear both the sound effect you were using and clearly hear every single one of your lines. And that really helped us follow along with the story. I thought it was really fun to watch. I could tell you guys were having fun with each other. You were smiling, you were laughing, and we were laughing right along with you. So thank you for this performance today.
This is Mrs. Johns. I very much enjoyed your performance also. I know that I believe you wrote this together, so you wrote it first, and then you worked out how you wanted to perform it. So that puts an extra layer there too, right, that you wrote it also. So congratulations on that. I very much enjoyed your hats and your props and your fun voices. Stephen, you have like the perfect Zorro voice. So.
Hi, Miss Maria's class. This is Jennifer. I want you to know I'm wearing my hat. And I am, obviously I'm biased. You know how I feel about this performance. But you also know what we've been working on the last couple rehearsals being presentation, right? Getting serious and just picking up cues with outside comments and everything, and you pulled it off today. Very professional group of readers and actors on the stage, so thank you very much. Also, I want to congratulate you and Michael on the fact that Maria isn't here today, and so Michael stepped in to do sound effects. And you know, when you work on something like this as an ensemble, as a group, and then one member can't be here, even if it's your teacher, that can throw a cog in the works, right? And you just smoothly pulled this off without Maria, and I'm really sorry that she wasn't here to see this, because I know she would have loved it. Thank you so much.
As Mr. Chris's class gets ready to go, Miss Ava, your class can wait behind the curtain.
What do I see?
Our next performers will start in about 30 seconds. So if you need help finding a seat, now's a good time. All right, thank you. We have 2 more performances in our program. And I'm so impressed how every single performance is different. So I love the creativity, and I loved how each classroom has made this their own, and it fits them. So next, we have a wonderful performance by Mr. Chris's class. Please give him a loud round of applause.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. In my class, we have Fabiola, Jaden, On, Tyler, Andrew, and Shahad. And they're very excited and anxious to show you what they're going to read today. So let's get started.
Today, teachers business class, I sent silly recipes to share with you guys. The first recipe is chocolate mousse.
Cooking time. 80 hours. Ingredientes. 1 mousse. Step 40 pounds of Hershey chocolate. 17 containers of Cool Whip. 1 Shershino. Directions. Step 1, Reno. You're gonna send a spouse to Alaska to capture
delivered by UPS. Step to Reno. Meanwhile, melt chocolate in a very large double boiler. Step 3, Reno, keep warm. Step 4, Reno, tie up loose.
Yeah, step 5, holding the moves by the tail. Carefully dip in melted chocolate, covering it completely with thin coating. Step 6, arrange moves attractively on wires, butter, and refrigerator. For 2 days to set chocolate. Step 7, remove rope once to remove chocolate if necessary and return rope to the first one. Step 8, garnish chocolate loose with cool whip and top of jelly. Step 10, or you could just chew on the rope, which may be tastier. Yeah, step 11 may be doubled for serving a crowd. Yes.
I don't know your football. I don't know about you. Wow, that sounds yummy. Next we have baked camel.
Two large shoes. Four large turkeys. 20 large carps, that's a fish. 200 medium seagull eggs. Banana leaves as needed. Directions. Step 1. Cook the eggs, peel them. Step 2. Scale the carps as a fish.
Step
turkeys. Step 5, fill the camel with the sheep. Step 6, dig a large pit. Step 7, place about 1,000 pounds of charcoal in the pit and light them. Step 8, wrap the camel. In the banana leaves and place it in the pit. Step 9, cover with earth and bake for 2 days. Step 10, serve with rice.
I don't know about you, but I would love to try those recipes. Thank you, everybody.
Those were great recipes. They made me laugh the whole time. I loved it. Thank you so much. All right, guys, please stay seated. Enjoy the wonderful words from our positive panel. Hey, Mr. Chris's class, it's Miss Cindy. Two of my favorite things are cooking and laughing. So you combined both of those in your presentation. So it felt like it was written just for me. I also really appreciated that your recipes had enough volume. You were making enough for everybody in this theater. But I think you might have been tricking us because I'm not sure I want to try those recipes. They sound a little off. I really liked how you guys were speaking clearly while you were sharing. It was a really funny presentation. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Mr. Chris's class. This is Mrs. Johns. I like how you work together. I loved the sound effects that Tyler was adding into the performance. And I like how you all knew when you needed to pause and wait to give Tyler time to activate the sound. So good job with that. And I really like those big smiles I could see on your faces while you were listening to each other read and waiting for your turn. Andrew, you especially, you look like you were having a great time the whole time. So good job, guys.
Hello, Chris's class. This is Jennifer. Thank you so much for your silly recipes. I would not have thought to do recipes for Reader's Theater. What a creative idea. I also really liked how you all work together and your pace and waiting, as Mrs. John said, waiting for the sound effects. I know the audience really enjoyed the sound effects. And I liked that you used, I liked that we got to hear the animals more than once. Every time somebody said camel, we heard the camel. Every time you said turkey, we heard the turkeys. That was very satisfying for us as an audience. So thank you for sharing your sense of humor with us.
I really like the inclusion
wonderful, wonderful performances. We have one more presentation for you. Miss Abba's class read a book together called American Like Me by America Ferrera, and then they chose individuals within the book to present. So please give Miss Abba's class a nice round of applause.
So appreciative, so patient, and listening to our performance. We worked on researching a person of interest. Our focus was a book, American Like Me by America Ferrera. Some people chose people from the book, they were short essays, and then some people wanted to research others and learn more about them. So it'll be a variety of different people, and we hope you enjoy our presentation. Caleb, you're up.
Alright guys, his name is Caleb, and person I select is, I'm saying Bob Marley. Crap, one I got a little nervous, but yeah. Person I select is Bob Marley. He is known around the world for his music. He played music for people around the world. I learned that. I learned that he's from Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? And he formed a group called the Wailers in the year of 1963. The reason why I chose Bob Marley is because I love reggae music, and the two songs I chose from Danny, my bad. The reason why two of the songs that I chose from Bob Marley is Three Little Birds and One Love. I exactly know what to do. Yeah, but okay. Oh yeah. And Bob Marley sang about peace and love, and he died on the year of 1981. To this day, his music still live on,
Every little thing is gonna be alright. There's no worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright.
Alright guys, that'll be it for us. I'm gonna pass it to my boy Danny.
Greetings, esteemed audience members. The subject of my presentation is Reshma Sajani. She appears in Chapter 2 of American Like Me, a book written by America Ferrera. Reshma is known for her founding of Girls Who Cook. I learned that Reshma was born in Chicago. Additionally, I learned that her parents were of Gujarati Indian descent. I chose Reshma because I like that despite the pressure to conform, she was willing to stand up for what was right. Her example inspire me. Secretary Sinan, you have the floor, sir.
My name is Sinan, and the person I selected is Tom Kenny, who is famous for being the voice actor of the show SpongeBob SquarePants. And he was born in Syracuse, New York, in July 13, 1962. He received an Emmy Award for the characters of SpongeBob. And Patrick the Pirate and Gary the Snail in 2018 and 2020. The reason I chose Tom Kenny because I like the character in SpongeBob that he played. Here's Patrick the Pirate's voice. Hi, I'm Patrick the Pirate, president of the SpongeBob SquarePants fan club. Next.
The person I chose is Cassandra Rose Clark. Cassandra Rose Clark is known for her captivating novels and short stories, which often blend fantasy, horror, and mystery. I learned that Cassandra's bicultural heritage plays a significant role in her writing. I chose Cassandra Rose Clark because of her writing. I chose Cassandra Rose Clark because of her writing resonates with me. Emma, you're next.
Al Madrigal is a jokester. Wait, no, a movie star. Actually, a writer and producer. Hold on, he's all of the above, plus more, don't need to say. Born in San Francisco on July 4th, 1971, he grew up hearing, "You're not Latino enough," or "How come you don't speak Spanish?" Honestly, that sounds like the perfect setup for a comedy career. His distinct voice shines through in everything he does, from stand-up and acting to writing and producing, bringing humor and honesty to the experience of being bicultural. I'll be honest, I had never heard of that Al Madrigal until listening to his chapter in American Like Me. I'm also not usually into celebrities, but his section stood out. Unlike others, he didn't just read his words from a page, he spoke to us. His voice made his story feel real, relatable, and engaging. That's why I wanted to learn more about him and his life, not as what he is, and how famous he is, but who he is. Thank you. Hold up. Wait. Finally, we have Nico.
Thank you, Emma. Also, hi, Mom. Edna and I mistakenly chose the same person, so what she said on one aspect of his story I really respect is he was able to infuse humor into his generally sad tale of his family history. And, hold on, sorry, I forgot my lines. And our presentation was about American Like Me, which is a book, obviously. It talks about bicultural Americans and how they were like super successful. That's about it. Thank you.
I am very impressed. I really enjoyed listening to each of your stories about the people that you were interested in learning more about. What I really like is that for each of you, I feel like your personalities came out in your performance. Every one of you, it was great to just see the real you, I think, and little glimpses of that. And I enjoyed the music and the SpongeBob voices and the humor. And I know that you all worked really hard on this, so very good job.
Hello, Abba's class. This is Jennifer. I also really enjoyed hearing about the people that you chose. I learned things I didn't know. I got interested in this book that you read. Caleb, I wanted to give you a shout out for being brave and hanging with it and sharing us your thoughts about Bob Marley. I think we all definitely wanted to hear what you had to say, and thank you so much for bringing music into it too. Danny, I had no idea what a fabulous public speaking voice you have. I've had conversations with you, but this is different. With you on stage, I think that you have a future in radio. Sunan, what a great choice for Readers Theater to talk to us about a voice actor. I tend to not think about the actor behind the character, so thank you for that, and thanks for giving us a little taste. When you said we were going to hear a little taste of the actor's voice, I thought you were going to play a recording, and instead you did an impersonation, and that was such a treat. That was such a treat. America, what an awesome presentation. You also clean up very well. And Emma, same as Danny. I've had chats with you on campus, but I've never heard your public speaking voice, and I really, really enjoyed hearing your presentation. And same for you, Nico. I just said hello to you on campus, but I got to hear your adult student presentation voice, so thank you so much. Sorry I took a lot of time.
Can I just say something? So Nico created a presentation using AI, and we are going to do a bigger presentation in our class, but that was too long for this setting, and so he had a shortened presentation, and I think he was struggling with that, but he turned that around and made lemonade, and as our bookend, he gave it his personal twist. But if anybody wants to hear his longer presentation, please come to the classroom in about 2 weeks.
I loved how you connected with the audience, sharing that music moment where we were all singing and clapping, sharing specific notes about authors that you liked, actors that you liked, immigrants that you were really impressed by, and that voice for Patrick. Oh my gosh, I loved that. We were all connecting with you and connecting with what you all had to share. And Nico, thank you for recapping information about the book to get us all interested in reading more about it. Really well done. One more round of applause for Miss August class. And please stay seated, Miss August class. Just because we're going to conclude our program, it'll be easier. But thank you very much. In conclusion, this is the first time we ever tried this type of activity as a whole school community. We all have different styles and different interests and different schedules and different abilities. And in my opinion, we all came together and did an excellent job, exceeded expectations. Please give yourselves a long, long, loud round of applause. Okay, before we are done here today, we wanted to take a moment to say a really big thank you to Karen. Karen came up with this idea for Readers Theater here at CSB. She put a lot of time into planning and organizing and working with teachers and students to prepare for today and for yesterday, and I think that it has been quite a success. So we want to give a big round of applause to Karen.
So Mrs. Johns is presenting Karen a vase of beautiful flowers. And when we met as a committee, we decided, well, we're not going to do trophies like the Braille Bee, but we couldn't resist. We got you this very special trophy. I was going to make a joke and say we're giving you a giant trophy, but folks, it's a really teeny tiny plastic trophy. But it's got your name on it and a crown. That's for you, and a card. And we really, really want to thank you for bringing something new to CSB, a really fun way for us to celebrate literacy, and a way for classes to work together as teams. And Readers Theater is here to stay.